want to direct you guys to a couple quick resources before we kick this off. First and foremost being the Subscription School website. So if this is your first webinar with us, make sure you to go to subscriptionschool.com. Check us out. What we do is we write informational guides, videos, webinars, and develop a bunch of other types of resources to make it easy to run subscription businesses. And so it's a great place to get new information. We usually post a few guides a month or so. So usually about 2 a week or so. We just put out this one yesterday about outsourcing fulfillment. And if you're interested in fulfillment, for example, click over to the webinar section, and you can see that on Thursday we've got another webinar for managing fulfillment for subscription boxes. We've got a special guest that day. So if you're looking for more information, this is probably the best place for you to go. But if you want to get some up-to-date stuff from us, I really encourage you to join our Facebook group, and our Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/subscription school, or you can just search subscription school and then sort by groups. It's a private group, so you have to request to be allowed in, but because you guys in the webinar today, make that request, and within an hour after the webinar will end, you'll be entered in. I usually do it right afterwards, so you might just have to wait during the length of the webinar before you get approved. And outside of the Facebook group, we also have a Facebook page. So, if you're looking to get the updated guides from us, be the first one to see it, this is a great place to go. Just go and like our page. Also, I might as well mention this too, if we're talking social media, check out our YouTube channel. So when we actually upload our webinars, we upload them to YouTube first. And so that's usually the best place to see webinars before anybody else are going to see them. So if you are, you have to step out today and you want to watch this webinar again, this is subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll get an email as soon as we upload a video, which is, like I said, usually about 1 or 2 days faster than our Facebook page or our actual website. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into this here. And also, too, let me just mention here for the people who have just joined us, the GoToWebinar control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. That's where you can get downloadable resources, i.e. the slides from today, and that's where you can ask me questions. So if we're covering something that's confusing, just pop a question in, and we'll be able to answer that for you, and we'll have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So if you do ask a question, just hold tight, and you will get an answer shortly. So let's kick this off. All right. So how to get your first 25 subscribers. That's presented by me. My name is Jesse Richardson. If you don't know me, if you want to learn more about me, check out my blog, jesserichardson.com. It's right there on the bottom of the screen. This is me on the left-hand side. It's my glamour shot, as I like to say. It also shows some of my projects that I've worked on in the past. I've sold subscription businesses. I've raised venture capital for subscription businesses. I've bootstrapped all of my businesses. I've run them with friends. I've run them with family. I've done them for cats, for vacations, for healthy products, for small batch goods, just about anything. I've had a hand in building a lot of subscription businesses that I'm not the founder for. And like I said, if you want to learn more about me, check out my blog. Follow me on LinkedIn or something like that, or Twitter. People still use that. On the right-hand side, this is a subscription school. And so, like I said, we create a bunch of cool content around subscription businesses. So again, this webinar is being recorded. It will be available. There's a link to our Facebook page, our Facebook group, our link to our website, and of course the Cratejoy knowledge base. So we already went over that stuff, so I won't dive back into that. But the overview of what we're talking about today is finding customers, or rather finding subscribers early on for your subscription business. Now, even if you've been launched for a couple months and maybe you're here because you haven't quite hit that magic number 25 yet, we'll still give you a lot of good information. But if you have not launched and you haven't even started thinking about your product, you're definitely a little bit behind where this webinar is going. Really, the point of this webinar is how can you find subscribers after you've built your product, after you've developed your brand, after you've really come up with a cohesive offering. Maybe you haven't done your first shipment, but you've laid the groundwork for your business and you know what you're selling to people, and you're 80% of the way there to actually make that sale if you haven't already made that sale. So outside of that, a lot of what we're focusing on today is low to no cost marketing strategies, and we go over a common 5 that we have in this webinar. I've added a new one today, along with some other tips that I haven't mentioned before. just to keep in mind. But really, I like to emphasize low to no cost marketing because 25 subscribers isn't a huge goal, right? It's in fact it's a pretty low goal, and I think is a good benchmark for validating a strong business idea. And so the reason why I like to focus on not spending money at this stage is because I want you to be able to prove to yourself and to your business that the idea itself is marketable and it doesn't cost $100 customers to find customers for your business, because then it might not be a sustainable business. So the strategies we'll lay out today are all about not spending money, just spending time and effort. Like I said, there's another one I've added to the presentation that's delves a little bit deeper into actually spending cash, but it still be low cost marketing. So at the end of the webinar, you'll also be provided with an action item list to do today once you get completed with the webinar, to get you started on tackling some of these things. And I hope that you walk away feeling like you've got some good action items. So before we jump into this, I want to ask you a question, and I want to just kind of gauge where you're at. So I'm going to go here and launch this poll, and I'm going to leave it up for about 45 seconds. And just tell me, what stage are you at in launching your subscription business today? So where are you sitting at your desk? How far away from you are for launching, or are you already launching? And like I said, I'll leave this up for about 45 seconds here. Alrighty, it looks like we've got about most people who have voted. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll, and I'll share the results with you so you can see where everybody else is at here. Okay, so it looks like a lot of people are in the trenches. You know, you guys are out there. You're already building this business. You're getting ready to launch, or you're doing a pre-launch maybe. But you've kind of got some of that early framework that I mentioned down. You've got some of your product developed already. Your branding's probably established. And it looks like some of you guys have recently launched or already up and running. It looks like about a third of you, if my math is good, 31%. Yeah, about a third of you are already going forward and already collecting sales. So that's useful to know. And I'll just ask this too: for those of you who have launched, I guess that 30% of you or so. For the rest of you, you can just not vote. Or yeah, just abstain from voting, I guess, in this one. Let me know, how many subscribers do you have? I want to learn a little bit more about where you're at in your business right now. Okay, so I'll show this result. So it looks like out of those of you who have launched, or maybe we have some people here who still haven't launched who answered anyways, it looks like we've only got about 1 in 5 of you who are actually at about the 24 mark, the 21 or plus mark. So for those of you who are at 0 or up to 20, you know, hopefully you guys walk away today from the webinar feeling you got some good steps forward, because you guys are so close. If you have the idea, you've already started selling it, I feel like you've already done the hardest part, and really just going to be honing these next couple customer acquisition strategies to get yourself some customers, start paying your bills with this thing. Okay, let me go ahead and hide these results here, and let's jump back into this. Okay. So before you start, there's 2 things I suggest you do before you actually start the process of acquiring customers. So first thing is get yourself an opt-in. And so what you see here on the left-hand side is an opt-in. So it's a little pop-up. You know, the most annoying things in the world. Nobody likes them, but for some reason we all have to use them. So get yourself an opt-in. To do this, you're going to need to have like a MailChimp account or an Intercom account or some type of email marketing service account, because while you're collecting emails, you want them to go to somewhere. You don't want to have this big Excel list of emails. You want to have a place to nurture your customers, to nurture your newsletter subscribers. So, and the reason why I suggest doing this and getting an opt-in is because this should oh, looks like it's trying to give me an install. Sorry about that. The reason why you want to do this is because not everybody who hits your website is going to sign up for your box, and that's just the fact of the matter. But what's really interesting is a lot of people will give you their email address because they might be interested in it at a later date. You know, maybe they really want to do it, but they can't afford it right now, or maybe they're on the fence, but you hit them with a good deal where they get 10% off for life, or they get some, sneak peek, or they're entered into a raffle or something like that, and you somehow incentivize them to part with a lesser commitment. You tell them, just give us your email and you get this cool thing that I know you'll love, and then we can talk about getting a subscription later. And that's essentially what an opt-in is doing. And more than that, it's giving you a marketable asset. It's going to be building a list of contacts of people who are probably interested in buying your product. So before you start pushing tons of traffic through blogs or through social media or through paid advertisements or whatever it might be, get yourself a way to make the most of the leads who are hitting your website. Um, it really depends on the opt-in, but a conversion rate on opt-in is usually going to be higher than the conversion rate on your checkout, um, unless you have a really really crummy opt-in and a really fantastic checkout. I would assume that an opt-in is always going to convert higher than your site does at actually converting people to actually buying something. And like I said, it's because it's a less of a commitment. So you can also use a SumoMe. There's a SumoMe app in the Cratejoy store that I should mention too. Step two before you start is set up a Google Analytics account. So it was interesting. I was just looking at these really cool results in the Subscription School Facebook group. Someone had posted their site redesign, and the cash flow difference between the first week of launch and the last week after the site redesign. It was awesome because their sales were up and to the right. Like it was looking really good. It looked like they were making much more revenue with the site redesign than with their old design. Uh, the problem and I posed this question to them, was, well, what was the traffic like? What was the conversion like? And unfortunately, they didn't have Google Analytics set up. So they can probably safely assume that they are seeing higher conversions than they first had, even though they weren't tracking it. But it puts them in a position where you have to make an assumption about something that you want to have concrete data on, like a site redesign. You want to know that it increases your conversion rate. You don't want to guess. And so this really applies for everything you'll be doing. And so for a lot of us people in the early stage, setting up Google Analytics, getting a pair of eyeballs on your site in the form of Google at all times is going to help us identify uh, which sources of leads are most promising, which websites are sending us the most customers, which websites are sending us the worst customers, and not the best customers, and which people are sending us people who are only seeing the site for 10 seconds and they bounce off. So all those things, which social media is pushing us the most traffic, and what's the quality of that traffic. These are all things that Google Analytics can tell us, and it's super simple to set up. So if you want to find more information about Google Analytics, head over to the Subscription School website. Go to the video section, and we actually have a webinar we did a couple weeks ago on Google Analytics. It's also available on our YouTube channel, and that'll give you a brief rundown. I say brief; it was actually like a 2-hour long webinar that was meant to be an hour long, so it was not very brief. But it'll give you a pretty in-depth but basic look at Google Analytics and how to use it. But essentially, what I'm saying here is simple. You want to have some tracking down so you can be smart about customer acquisition and not just make assumptions about what's working and what's not working. Okay, so let's move on from this. So the best strategy to get to 25 customers, in my opinion, here is actually to start smart. And when I say start smart, that means emphasizing early stage lead capture, maximizing momentum that you have early on from launching a business. The way you usually do this is with a pre-launch. In fact, we just went over this last week in one of our webinars about how to launch a subscription business and why pre-launches are the right way to go, or one of the best ways to go. We won't spend a lot of time on this now because I know a lot of you have launched and some of you are already doing this. But for those of you who haven't, the idea is basically before launching our business, let's put up a page to collect interest and to gauge the product market fit of our idea. So we'll put up a simple landing page. We only ask for people's emails. We say, reserve your spot now for this future subscription box. And that's basically what pre-launch is. And the idea here is we're starting earlier in our funnel. We're jumping, we're jumping ahead 2 months, or I guess depending how you look at it, 1 month, maybe 3 months, depending on how long you do your pre-launch. But basically, before we actually launch our product, we're giving ourselves 2, 3, 1 month more of time to gather emails, to get a list of customers, to get that marketable asset that you would get also from an opt-in. At this stage, we're identifying who our target market is. We're testing that. We're actually creating leads. We are taking people who are prospects and sending them to our website, and then they're giving us their emails. That creates a lead for us. We know that person's interested in the idea, and then we convert those leads to customers, and et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, if you want to talk or you want to learn more about launching a subscription business or pre-launching, check out, just search pre-launch on Subscription School, or head over to Jameson Morris's blog. Jameson Morris is a business partner of mine who worked on Escape Monthly and Conscious Box with me, and he's got a lot of cool pieces that he's been writing. He contributed a lot for Subscription School. He used to be the marketing director for our marketplace at Cratejoy, and now he's spending full time on another subscription business. So if you've already launched, no problem. Don't worry about it. Let's talk about why 25 is an important number. Um, 25 is an important number for a few different reasons, and I think they're all very important reasons. And for those of you who aren't at 25 yet, you've probably been feeling the pain of these things already. So number one, I think it really simplifies product sourcing. At 25 subscribers, you can go to a vendor or an Etsy merchant or um, a wholesaler or something like that. You can go and someone who's selling items, and you can say, "Hey, I need 25, or I need 30, or I need 35 if you're including some press boxes to them." And that sounds more of like a bulk order versus, "Hey, I need 10," or, "Hey, I need 5," because that sounds like it could be a personal order. It doesn't really feel like they're incentivized to lower the price for you, which means your cost of goods is going to be higher, which means you're making less profit. So it kind of creates this kind of snowball effect with product sourcing, where if you're not buying enough at a time, you can really hamper your ability to negotiate and to get your prices down and then to make money. And I've noticed that at 25 is usually when people start to say, "Hey, this is when it's been easier for me to actually source these products." So vendors are going to take you more seriously. At 25, you're also going to have a little bit more of a cohesive community. At 25 subscribers, you got 24 people who are actually receiving your product now. That's pretty cool. You can incentivize those people to post on social media. You can use those posts on social media as marketable content. You can repost those things. You can use them in advertisements. You can use them on your website. But you've got this cool user-generated content that starts to really build momentum at around 25 subscribers that I think is really helpful for your business. Most importantly, and I think this is most important because, like I said, I like to run everything very lean, everything low cost. We shouldn't be putting money out of our own pockets. Businesses should pay for themselves. At 25 subscribers, with a $5 to $10 profit margin or so, you're probably stopping your out-of-pocket expenses at this point. You're probably looking at 100, 200, maybe $300 in net profit, or gross profit rather, to pay for your other things like your apps, your MailChimp, your Zendesk, your, et cetera, et cetera. And that means out-of-pocket expenses. That'll pay for your Cratejoy. And I think that is a huge motivating factor for you to keep on going forward, is not having to shell out your own cash to get things done. So how do we get there? And let me just jump back real quick and see if we have any questions. It looks like we've got a couple questions that have popped up. And I guess before we jump into the methods that I think are really interesting, let's go ahead and talk about what's holding you back. And so let me just hop back to this last slide. And I'm going to launch one more poll. This will be our last poll, and then we'll go into how we can overcome some of these things that might be holding you back. And I'll leave this up here for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute or so. Okay, it looks like we have got most people who have voted. So let's go ahead and close this poll, and I'll share these results with you guys so you can see what's going on. So it looks like a lot of people, more than half of you, are just confused about how to market yourself. So I'm going to be actually interested in digging into this answer a little bit more, because that's actually this has never been the main reason why people have been held back. Done this webinar maybe about a half dozen times, and it's usually getting traffic, have low conversion rate, or not getting enough traffic. So confused on how to market yourself. If you guys have some more comments you want to share about that, just kind of now that I have it on top of my mind, let me know in the questions box. Is it a matter of the strategies behind marketing, or is it the matter of actually pitching yourself, or do you not know how to write the marketing copy, or is it a combination of those things, or is it something else? Feel free to give me a little bit more detail about that as we jump into this. Let's see, I see we got a couple questions. We'll hold off on those ones until the end here. So let's go back to this presentation. I'm going to go over 6 methods, and they're going to basically go from cheapest and easiest to the non-cheapest and the I don't want to say the hardest, but the more difficult. Okay, let's go back here. Okay. All right, so method number one, your product press plus friends and family equals early marketing. So this is probably the thing that we all know we should do is give our friends and family free products, right? They want it. We need the traction. It just makes sense. So if we're trying to get to 25 subscribers, this is just one little cog in the machine I want to offer you. And that's maybe give 2 or 3 boxes out, a half dozen boxes out or something like that to people that you know, or give them a really, really deep discount. Something that covers your costs. Maybe it's 50% off, or something like that. And have some specific goals behind this when you do it. I mean, we don't want to just give away free product. We want to get something out of it, right? And if it's not going to be money, what is it going to be? I think it's 3 things really. Number one, feedback. And before I go into what feedback to ask for, I always like to say, tell them, do not be nice to me. Say, I don't want to hear your compliments. Only tell me the things that you'd want to change or you'd want to see different if you were buying this. So how is the presentation? How's the product quality? How did shipping, work out? Did your box arrive completely damaged? Was something broken inside? Give me information about how the product experience was itself. That feedback can be really useful into perfecting your product experience for future subscribers. Outside of this, though, you can get yourself a little bit of traction in a social way. So tell them to post on your wall, share the photos. Do something. Have them do something that's interactive with you, so people can see that there's other traction, there's other people subscribing to this thing. It's really helpful to provide validation to prospective new customers, especially if you're just starting off as a business. So maybe feature some of their posts on your channels, or on your wall, or like I said, repost these things. Use that content that they're generating for you to um, to help kind of build that social momentum and appear more interesting. Maybe not more interesting, but appear more together, or um, uh, uh, maybe just validated. I just feel like the word I'm reaching for is validation. You want to feel like you're validated to future customers, so they know that when they buy a product, they're actually going to receive something. And then thirdly is that's going to be some more demand. So even if you have 6 subscribers, quote unquote subscribers, who are using a 50% off coupon, and they're just covering the costs, that's still going to be a couple people who can help us buy more product, and that's useful for those reasons we explained earlier. Method number 2, build out your social media. There's a lot of different things that have to deal with social media, a lot of different ways to approach it. I'm going to explain one way in depth, and actually I'm going to explain kind of 2 ways, but mostly one way, Instagram in depth. But with this, it's just a fundamental thing that you've got to do for your business. Build a Facebook page, build a Twitter, build a Pinterest, build an Instagram, build a YouTube channel. You should, if for nothing else, you should go get those pages just to secure the URL. So facebook.com/subscription school. Like, even if I never interacted on this page, and I just, YouTube was like so much better for my business, I would still want to have that Facebook page so no one else can have facebook.com/subscription school. So go ahead and create those pages, get them looking nice, implement calls to action on those pages. So when someone does stumble across your Facebook page, you've got a buy now button, you have pictures set up, you've got a description. You want to build them out so they look like a professional business. Maybe even use unique coupon codes and track those conversions. That's an extra kind of layer of tracking that you can get beyond the Google Analytics we talked about earlier. With these early social media pages, do the same thing from our slide number 1, friends and family. Get them to like and follow your pages. It's not even funny how many times I have asked my friends and family to like different Facebook pages for different businesses, or for different projects I was working on, or for basically just about anything. I've sent so many requests out to my friends and family on Facebook and on Instagram that they're probably like just completely annoyed with me at this point, but I don't care. That first 100 likes can be really useful. I mean, it like I said, it provides that early stage validation. It provides that traction for people, that I think is really useful in winning over prospective customers. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna dive deep on 2 of them. The first one is Instagram. So Instagram is our favorite social media channel here at Subscription School. I think it's one of the easiest ways to acquire customers without spending money. I think the easiest way to acquire customers with spending money is probably Facebook ads. But if you don't want to spend money, use Instagram. So why? is because right now there are much fewer ads on Instagram than there are on Facebook, than there are on YouTube, than there are on Twitter, etc., etc. Now, unfortunately, they are working their butts off to change that. They every single day I see more ads on my Instagram feed, it seems like. But beyond the whole advertising side of it, there are some other perks about Instagram. Number one being the nature of the application. So I love Facebook, excuse me, I love Instagram because it's image driven. It's driven by the pictures we take on our phones or by the videos we make if we're makers. It's driven by a really beautiful form of content, video and photo. More than that, it's also niche driven and lifestyle driven. Our personal Instagram pages are still driven by our lifestyle. For businesses, it's the same way. We drive our pages based on the niches that we're presenting. So, for example, with Prosperly, I'm always posting outdoor photos. I'm always posting pictures of makers. I'm always posting pictures of, things that have to do with our theme for the next month. Like it's the perfect place for me to explore the niche in a visual way and at the same time be promoting my brand. And what I've noticed with great advertisers is you don't see Nike, advertising anymore about the type of foam they're using in the bottom of their shoes. You don't see Apple, in their commercials really go into the different types of alloys they're putting into their phones. You might see that stuff at the Apple convention thing, but you don't see that on the commercials on TV. What do you see? You see people using their iPhones and listening to their earbuds as they drive down the Sunset Highway, or hang out with their girlfriend or boyfriend, or you see the athlete in the Nike ads, just like running down this track and sweat's dripping off his body, and she's jumping through this crazy hoop and like pole vaulting some crazy way. They're advertising the lifestyles behind those brands, and I think that consumers, if not now more than ever, they really react to that type of advertising more than get 20% off this box, buy now, buy now, buy now. You look at the ads of the early 20th century, and they're really long-winded, lots of copy, lots of rationalizations of why they should buy something, and lots of reasons why they should buy something actually spelled out. And then you look at the successful advertisers of the 21st century, and it's markedly different. It's not about the reasons why they need to do it spelled out with text. It's about, look at these people are doing. Look at this, look at these what these people are achieving through these products. This is why you need that product. I think Instagram is embedded into this for that very embedded in the fabric of our social media lives so tightly nowadays, because it captures this new form of interest by people. Okay, that was my Instagram rant. Um, okay, so some other kind of tips about Instagram: post, post, post. I think that you can post 3 to 5 times a day, as long as it's high quality images and as long as it's interesting and niche driven. Use hashtags. Hashtags looks like the little pound sign. You can see that here under the like section. Go into hashtags. Find interests aligned with your brand. Like the photos. Follow the people. For example, go to hashtag subscription boxes. Hashtag Cratejoy. Hashtag subscription box. Hashtag vegan. Hashtag paleo. Hashtag STEAM. Hashtag, and that's for science, technology, engineering, something else in math, art and math, I think. So, you go find different hashtags that represent your niche on Instagram, and then use those hashtags to find users who will love your product, and then engage with those people by liking, commenting, and following them. Okay, let me just jump out of this presentation, see if we have a ton of questions coming up. Okay, we got a ton of questions here. I am going to jump back into this here. Oh no, it's signed me out. Let me see if I can keep going here. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going like this. Okay, so if you want some examples of your Instagram, or some kind of sources of inspiration, check out Prosperly at Prosperly, or check out Yogi Surprise. Yogi Surprise is done by the gentleman Jameson Morris, who I mentioned earlier. You can see the type of content that we're posting. Like I said, you can see with Yogi Surprise, I think they do a fantastic job. There's a gentleman who works with Yogi Surprise by the name of Matthew, and he is their kind of resident designer and kind of social media maven, and he does a fantastic job, building beautiful ads, integrating, their advertising subtly into different types of shots like this. You can just see, look at all these people doing yoga with the box. And then when there are advertisements, it's not super adsy. It's just very, very clean and very crisp and very beautiful. I like to think that Prosperly is like that, but to be totally frank, they do it better than us. So check out both of us, and you can see ways that you can hit those types of goals with Instagram. Method number three, and I see that we have lots of questions. We got about 20 minutes left, so I'm going to power through these next couple slides, and then we'll get into your questions. Method number three is the marketplace. So Cratejoy is doing something that's basically unprecedented. It's definitely unprecedented in the subscription box world, and that is buying you customers. So make sure you have a Cratejoy account. If you're not a Cratejoy merchant, if you ever needed a time to switch over to Cratejoy, now's your time. But you can build yourself a marketplace listing. You can manage the listing yourself. You can update your photos, update the copy. Usually takes about a day to get approved each time you do an update. But what we'll do is Cratejoy will find customers, front the cost. We'll actually buy customers through different ad campaigns. We'll send them to our marketplace. Those customers will shop around. They'll find your box. They'll buy the box, and even if that costs Cratejoy $40, you don't have to pay anything that day. It's when the customer signs up that you pay a commission to Cratejoy. I think it's 10% is the standard commission. And so if you have a $30 box and Cratejoy paid $40 for that customer, then you only pay Cratejoy $3 for that first day. Now they collect that commission for the life of the customer, but that means it's not until 13 months after the customer signed up that you're even uh, paying Cratejoy completely back for that customer if that customer costs $40. And that's just a hypothetical number I'm throwing out there. I think it's a pretty decent assumption for Facebook ad costs. It's about somewhere between $25 and $70 a customer, and so it's a no-brainer deal. It's a great option for all Cratejoy merchants, and it's very, very low cost. And it's a piece of your margin, but you need to have margin established for acquiring customers. So check out the marketplace. If you just go to cratejoy.com, you can see what that looks like. And so that's really cool. You should definitely do that. We also have a marketplace partner program. We partnered with major subscription box influencers like My Subscription Addiction and Hello Subscription. And what that means is you don't have to worry about structuring affiliate commissions with subscription box bloggers. You don't have to worry about going to these people and saying, hey, I want you to review our box, and how much do I need to pay for you to do that. Instead, you can use Cratejoy and our exclusive partnerships with them. If you want to be involved with the marketplace program and you want to see how you can get on My Subscription Addiction and other box review websites like that, the best person to reach out to is Colette. And Colette has been managing that, and she's been doing it for a bunch of other things too. She's been doing it for different social influencers, and she's been doing it for just really cool people who are really great at selling subscription boxes. And so she sets up partnerships with them. Like I said, we still cover the cost, and you send out your box, and you get a great way to promote your company without having to do all the footwork that is usually required behind organizing blogger campaigns and social influencer campaigns. So let's move on from that. I see here, so we still got quite a bit of questions here, just pouring in, which is great, which I'm excited to answer some of these. Method number 4 here, smart email marketing. So when I say smart email marketing, I mean going back to the beginning of the presentation, when we talked about the opt-in, right, this guy. So we've captured a bunch of emails the whole time, right? Now it's time to get smart about how we actually manage that list, how we actually manage the the collection of newsletter subscribers, or you might have got them through giveaways or whatever the source is, how you actually manage and nurture your leads. So you've got traffic, people are converting on your website, people are converting on your pop-up and your opt-in, and now you need to optimize that emailing both to your customers and to your non-customers who are still leads. That means spending time on templates, making sure that your welcome emails look really nice. It means spending time on developing automations. So when they get a welcome email, a week later they get a coupon reminder. A week later they get this contextual story about how Susan loved her first box and how she found all these different cool companies. A week after that they got another reminder of the coupon. You need to build out your emailing, and you build out how you're communicating with customers, as best you can, as early on as you can, because that's gonna be uh, much more effective at converting your leads and keeping them interested in your product if you have stuff like that set up versus just random one-off emails you do once in a while, and you forget to do a newsletter 1 month, and then 2 months later someone gets an email and they don't really remember who you are. So getting smart with your email marketing is a great idea. We have a webinar on this naturally. So go to subscription school, type in email marketing in the search box, and you can find that. We've got a couple guides, I think, that mention it too. And we also have some resources, I believe, on the resources page about it, which we can get to at the end of this webinar too. So an assignment. I want to give you guys something to do next Thursday. This should really read next Tuesday, so I'll just go ahead and change that. Next Tuesday, and that is, I want you to be able to say, in 1 week, how much has my email list grown? That's what you get from your opt-in, so we just covered just a second ago. So how much has my email list grown? This thing is giving me issues here. How much has my email list grown? What is the conversion rate of my opt-in? So at what rate are people subscribing to my newsletter? Where's my traffic coming from? That's going to be the Google Analytics piece. So you'll be able to see what social media has been effective at pushing you traffic. What blogs have been effective at pushing you traffic. Has a marketplace been pushing you traffic? What's going on? Where's my traffic coming from? Why is it great? And if you want to learn more about Tuesday and why Tuesday is a great day to send emails, you can go over here to Subscription School. And like I said, under the resources section, I believe we have it listed up here. Let's see here. No, actually, I don't see it here. If you just go to the search and you go to, let's just see here, email marketing. You drop that search in, and you'll probably, once this thing loads, you will find a webinar with a PDF attached to it that's about different times to be doing emailing. Obviously, too, you can always just do a search on your own, Google, and like I said, even more so is experiment. I think that experimenting with your send times, with your subject lines, with your colors, with your buttons, all those things, that's all part of smart email marketing. So in a 1 week's time, set yourself up to knock out those few deliverables. And I think that'll position yourself to get maybe a new batch of customers. And I think if for those of you who are just in that final stretch, 15, 20 customers, that could be your source of 5 customers right there. If you start growing your email list and you start nurturing those leads and you start trying to convert those leads. Method number 5 here, long tail, and that means it takes a little bit longer to realize, but this is a long tail method, and that's reviews and bloggers. So if you're doing a pre-launch, I don't know why this keeps doing it to me. I'm sorry, that keeps popping up here. But if you're doing a pre-launch, you can schedule these ahead of time. Sometimes even reviewers and bloggers would be willing to do shout outs and stuff like that before you've even actually launched your product. So you might be able to organize those partnerships, but schedule them ahead of time. If you've already launched, totally fine. A really good resource for this actually is, here's our search. The Essentials of Email Marketing. You can see Webinar 2 here. We click Webinar 2, and on this page, there's this free ebook right there. Free ebook. Sweet. But under the resources page, back to reviewers and bloggers, there is a influencer blogger outreach worksheet. You can see up here right in the free resources page, and I'll actually get this that other PDF about the email marketing. I'll get this included in the free resource section. I don't know why that's not there. But this right here is a spreadsheet that's basically designed to make it really easy to keep track of all your leads. So if you're dealing with lots of bloggers or you're dealing with lots of social influencers, that stuff is obviously a pain to keep track of, but it's something you want to keep meticulous organization with, because you don't want to keep emailing the same people saying, hey, would you like to review a box? And they're like, we've already reviewed a box 6 times this month. So you get that downloadable resource. The idea here is finding people in your niche finding people who blog or make videos or do posts about whatever it is your box is about. So it might be about vegan food, it might be about exercising, it might be about supplements, it might be about furniture painting, it might be about, muscle building, whatever it is, finding bloggers and influencers who exist in that niche, reaching out to them, setting up partnerships, saying, hey, I want to send you a box, or hey, I want to collaborate with you on a newsletter shout out, or something like that. And like I said, those things can sometimes take a little bit more time to actually come to fruition, versus you sitting on your phone today and working for a couple hours on Instagram. But those, it can be really effective. And like I said, this is something that we're also doing at Cratejoy. So I think you should do both. Don't rely on us to get all your customers, but I think that if you're looking for a way to get your name out there, identifying niche bloggers and setting up partnerships with them, ideally for free. It wouldn't be totally for free, the exchange for your product, but that'd be one of the best ways for you to really quickly grow your business. You can set up a couple strong reviews, and you can get yourself a couple customers per review. Method 6 here is testing Facebook ads. So Facebook ads can be highly effective, but there's some key things you want to do. You want to promote the right type of post. You want to do a post for conversions or click to a website. You want to target your audience. You want to make sure you're going for the right demographic. They have the right interests. They are the right gender. They are the right age group. They are in the right states, etc., etc. So target your market as well as you can. Set up a good spend on it, maybe 20, 30, 40 bucks. Maybe set over 2 or 3 days. I think you need to spend at least 50 bucks to get real traction on there. So this is definitely not the free way to go, but it's a cheaper way to go. 50 bucks a day is a pretty good campaign. If you could run that for 4 or 5 days, you might spend a couple $100, but you might be able to get some solid traction with that. Most importantly, update ad sets accordingly. When people click, find out what is the age group. Is it what you thought? What is the gender? Is it what you thought? Is it the state? What is it? Like, drill into your audience and see who is the most likely type of person to click your ads, and that can inform a lot of stuff that we talked about today, from who you're following on Instagram to what kind of bloggers you're partnering with to what social influencers are going to be most effective for your box. If you want to learn more about that, we just did a pretty cool guide, I think about 2 weeks ago, on how one advertiser brought down their, let's see here, it must have been a little bit longer than 2 weeks ago, how they brought down their acquisition costs by 190 bucks per customer. It's a really interesting guide. We go into depth here. We worked on it with someone who actually was building out a campaign and spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on a campaign. So it has a lot of good information on it. So jump into this guide if you want to learn more about this. But like I said, it's not the low to no cost. It's a little bit more the medium cost. So I like to just gloss over that. So at this point, what are you waiting for? It's time to just do it. That's Shiloh LaBeouf's. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Okay. Q&A time. Let's. I'm gonna leave up some action item reminders. If you want to post your social media links to our wall, if you want to post comments to our wall, go to facebook.com/subscription school. Let me know. I can take a peek at it. I can give you guys some advice. Make sure to set up your MailChimp account, your opt-in, send emails, procure extra boxes for bloggers, send them to the addresses, and start looking at the traction you're getting from blogs through Google Analytics. Okay, we got about 15 minutes left here, so let's power through some questions. All right, so does MailChimp have an opt-in extension? I'm not sure quite what you mean by that, Dina. They do have forms and stuff, but they don't. I don't think that MailChimp makes very beautiful opt-ins. I don't think they're not for lead generation. They're for lead management. And so I would suggest using something like Opt-in Monster or SumoMe. They're going to give you a lot more. They're going to give you a lot nicer design. MailChimp does give you basic forms though. I did some advertising and we got 644 clicks and only 2 conversions. Oh no. Katie, I would suggest you dive into that. Out of those 2 conversions, what are the demographics of those 2 people? What do those 2 people look like compared to everybody else who clicked? Is it your website? Did they bounce it? Did they get to your website and then they bounced really high? Did they get to your website, click around, and then they hit this one specific page and it bounced really high? Was it the checkout page? Was it sticker shock? You can probably do some drilling into that and get some more information. Writing marketing content has been a little difficult. I've Googled hashtags instead of Hootsuite, though, so that has been boosting my social media numbers. That's awesome. Yeah, Hootsuite can be a powerful tool. For those of you who are wondering, it's Hootsuite, so HOOT suite.com. And that's a lot of automation stuff. It's a cool social media kind of management tool. And I definitely suggest checking it out if you're looking for something like that. So I don't know what social media to use. Lisa, think about your customers. What type of social media do your customers use? That's what I would ask you. We tried giving away free boxes, but our boxes are $119 each. Holy cow. And one time we had one conversion, and the other time the guy didn't post the review. Oh my gosh. Okay, Katie, I need to say, number one, uh, if you got a box that expensive, I might even set up a one-page agreement where it says when you get this box, you have 7 days to post it, and get them to e-sign it, and that might kind of vet out the crappy people. I would be hounding that guy if I were you about my review. I would be furious. Um, uh, and I mean, I guess the only other thing is, you said you did it one time and you had one conversion. Um, that sounds like the box paid for itself. You didn't make any profit off of that, but that review might generate a couple conversions over the length of the review that's online. You do that a couple times, and I mean, that's the thing is it's going to cost you money to get subscribers, and if you can do it through free product versus cash on Facebook ads, it should be easier for you. Like if you have back stock, use that extra stock in your for reviews. Should I reach out to people following my social media accounts? I have a few followers, but they haven't been signing up on the pre-launch page. Yeah, maybe that's not a bad idea, Ebony. Maybe you go to their pages, you like them a couple times, like, hey, check out our pre-launch page. Thanks for the follow. What do you think of our idea? It's a good idea. As a handmade item box, it's hard to identify and find a market without joining groups and finding ways to interact with your box. Um, it's hard to identify how to find a market without joining groups and finding ways to interject your box. Oh, I see, Dina. So you're doing your handmade items. I mean, I think that depending on what your handmade items are, don't look at it just as handmade. Look at a broader niche and say, I'm doing bath and beauty products, and then find, um, people who are doing that really well, communities online who are doing that really well, social media accounts that are doing that really well, and then target those people, their followers, target those people who like that page, target reviewers who do reviews about bath and body products, that type of thing. It doesn't necessarily need to be like a handmade niche. It could be like the general organic bath and body product or something like that. I think that's kind of an answer. I gave out some boxes to reviewers you mentioned in another webinar with coupon codes. Should that help boost subscribers? Yeah, Michelle, totally. Including coupon codes, other incentives, specific instructions for your bloggers. Those are all great ways to help boost conversions. Absolutely. Michelle says, I'm getting blocked a lot more. Like my website is banned on Instagram since the new rules, incorrectly flagged as inappropriate. I love Instagram, but there's so many roadblocks. That's really strange. I've never heard of that before, Michelle. I'm tempted to ask you to post what your project is. Dina says, if I make a product for my boxes, what are the advantages and disadvantages to partnering with an established box? Is me selling them my product advisable, or should I try to pull in profit above cost? Dina, if you have a big subscription box who's like willing to put your product in there, and your product is like the name of your subscription box, I would totally do that if I were you. In fact, I think it's against their interest to do that. So if you can do that and get your costs covered that include your time, I think that's a great idea. I'm also annoyed by scammer reviews saying they should have a lot of followers, but 25 or less photo posts via Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, Michelle, you got to be careful about people who they bought followers. Always look at engagement. How many people like their photos? What are the comments like? Are the comments actually substantial? Or are they actually people leaving comments? Or is it just like, great photo, love your feed, so cool, really interesting, love this. If people are saying, oh my gosh, Jesse, that was really cool. I love how this box looks like this. I wonder what that one product tastes like. Like, what was your... That's how you know it's like a real interaction. So look for comments that have a little bit more substance to them. You do have to worry about that, though. I mean, it's just kind of something that we all have to deal with. So Michelle says, hashtags are a saving grace for most social media platforms. That is definitely true. Is it okay to follow more people on Instagram than you have followers? Totally, Dina. Absolutely. I mean, I think that the goal is to have it the other way. And what I do is I have our team and prosperly follow people. And then once a month we do a big unfollow for people who don't follow us back. So Michelle says, I've learned with Instagram, just post, 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 and not worry about following people except for those who are major influencers in your field. Yep, I would agree with that. It really depends on who you're following, getting targeted with it, but it's definitely an uphill battle with that. It's just a matter of time, though. I think that Instagram can be one of the most powerful tools as long as your content's high quality, you're posting interesting content, you're posting regularly, and you're doing a good job to engage with your community. So how do you decide what's a good post? What's a good to post on Instagram? Um, it totally depends on your niche, Sabrina. I would suggest looking at lifestyle content. Look at who does your niche well on Instagram, and then look at what they're posting, and then emulate that. How do people get cash to pay for great social media managers? They make a lot of money, Katie. That'd be the simplest answer I could think of. Is they have enough profit margin. They might have a few hundred, maybe a few thousand subscribers, and they can shell out $1,500 a month for a social media manager. Do you have statistics on how many customers boxes are getting to the marketplace? Um, do you have on how many customer boxes are getting? Um, we do have statistics. We do a lot of sales. We do like hundreds of sales the marketplace every single day, Lori. Um, I have had Colette review and help me with my Aroma Getaway box, and I love the feedback from reviewers. Thank you for that feedback, Michelle. I have a Cratejoy account. How do I have them reach me? Matthew, you reach out to us. Reach out to Colette and proactively get us working with you. That's the best way to do it. We have hundreds of merchants and lots of people we work with. So the best way to get them to reach you is make that first contact. Yes, Chris, we'll have a recording of the webinar. Just want to say thank you for a great presentation. The subscription school part of Cratejoy is invaluable. Dina, thank you so much for the feedback. As always, I really appreciate it. This is the stuff that continues to justify my the time we spend on education and time we spend on developing these webinars and these topics. So I really appreciate that. Where to find reviewers and bloggers? Matthew, I think it's a matter of your niche. So Googling, searching through hashtags, going to explore on Instagram and exploring by hashtags. Googling like top beauty bloggers, top eco bloggers, top the 10 coolest Twitter accounts for fitness. That's how you find influencers, and you find people who follow them who are sizable followings, and you eventually narrow down your list of people to a good amount of people. And remember, like, just set a standard for yourself. Maybe it's 10,000 followers. That person doesn't need to have a 500,000 followers for you to work with them. You can work with 20 people who each have 20,000 followers and still get a lot of good traction. Lori says, I've done a lot of Facebook posts and boosts and I've gotten lots of likes. How do you convert those to sales? I might suggest promoting posts to your likes, the people who follow your page, Lori. Maybe promoting something like a giveaway where they have to sign up to their email or something like that, or a really special deep discount that only the people who like your page can see, and then testing something like that. So does SumoMe offer email marketing templates? I'm not sure, honestly. Sorry. They might. What's the best way to get Facebook traffic through Facebook ads? Yeah, you want to be more specific with your audience. You want don't do running a campaign for shares or for likes. I suggest running a campaign for clicks to a website or clicks for conversion because they look more interesting, and you can get likes and shares through those campaigns anyways. Um, so I would suggest reading that post that we went over how we brought down Facebook ads $190. This is the best way to run ads to actually convert customers. One of the best ways to do it, and one of the most comprehensive guides that I've been a part of developing for that topic. I did set up agreement after that. Good idea, Katie. He ended up making a donation to our nonprofit instead. What? He should just written the review. That's just silly. So, what would be an acceptable number of leads the first week of collecting emails? That totally depends. I would suggest you want to get about like a 5% conversion rate of your Facebook, or not your Facebook, 5% traffic, 5% conversion of the traffic to your website at least, maybe 10% for your opt-in, somewhere between there. So if you get 1,000 people, I would hope for 50 to 100 emails. How to get subscribers to post a review? That's a little bit more difficult. I would put calls to action in and on the box. How do you end up ordering just the amount you need with vendors at the end of the month? It's all a matter, Justin, of forecasting correctly. I always over order as well, so I can send those extra boxes to bloggers and stuff. But it's just a matter of, um, like I said, making sure that you are estimating your growth, your daily growth, and then realizing that estimated daily growth in your purchasing. Okay, I'm going to go back to a few more questions. We've only got a couple left here. Let's see here. Okay, so I launched a teaser page 2 months ago. No paid advertising shared. Blah blah blah. 59 subscribers today. Been busy working on these things. I spoke with. Okay, they both launched with 750. I plan on a teaser page. Um, I see. So what if you don't get 1,000 emails by then? Asked George. So George is running a pre-launch. He's basically saying, what if I don't have 1,000 subscribers, email subscribers by the time I want to launch my business? George, I would say take a hard look at why that is. Is it a conversion rate problem or is it a traffic problem? If it was a conversion rate problem, you really got to work on your product offering, your branding. Something else is there. If it's a traffic problem, I would try to boost. I would work my butt off to getting as much traffic as I could. Before you launch to really get that idea validated. I would suggest watching our pre-launch webinar about it, but I think that if you don't get to 1,000 subscribers, you want to get to at least 500 or so after 2 or 3 months of pre-launching. If you don't get that high, like I said, determine is it traffic or is it conversion. Michelle says, if I follow too many people in a short amount of time, that's a no-no. Yes, you will get stopped from following people. Do you have a webinar for partnering with different brands to include your subscription box? Susan, we do. Go to videos or just go to search and search for product sourcing for subscription boxes. What's the standard on paying for social media manager? I don't know, Nicole. It would depends on how often you want them to manage for you. I would assume paying like between $500 and $1,500 a month for like a mostly part-time social media manager. Most of my subscribers are through Cratejoy. The marketplace works, says Michelle. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Happy you got the information that you needed. Thank you, Ebony. Appreciate the comment. Hope that was useful for you guys. So what if you find a blogger but you don't see any product reviews on their page? Yeah, Nisa, I think that's a red flag. Look for bloggers who actually promote stuff. Because if you have a blogger who says, oh, I do reviews, and they don't have any reviews, it's like, I would say, what's the ROI? Prove to me that you can do sales. Because if they don't have a proven way, if they don't have reviews with lots of comments and interaction, it's just a difficult gamble. Is there an app I can use for a salesperson in a booth? Ruth, that is a great idea. Like Uber for salespeople, Suber, Saleser. I don't know of any, but that's a cool idea. Can you tell us how to join the private subscription school Facebook group? Ooh, the private subscription school Facebook group. Just go to facebook.com/groups/subscription school and request entry, or email me after the webinar, jesse@cratejoy.com, and I will get you a link to it. Why don't we have a pin it button on the marketplace? I'm wondering, Stacy. You should definitely include pin buttons. That's always cool for websites. Jessica Perez. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Love you guys too. If I can only hear you guys' voices, that makes this webinar so much more interesting for me. Okay, so Nisa, you're welcome. It looks like these are all the. Oh, we got 2 more questions sneaking here. Lori, I'm super glad that the insight was useful for you. Simon, how do I simply set up a facebook.com/company name? You want to go to create a Facebook page, Simon, and make sure you have it listed as a company or a product or service, not as a personal page. And then once you get to, I think, 10 likes, then it lets you set that URL. Is Pinterest effective for sub boxes? Michelle, I think that can be very, very effective for subscription boxes. I think it depends on the niche, though. If you're doing like a DIY box, maybe a recipe box, maybe a cooking box, maybe spices, things that it's a little bit more hands-on than just like, here's a random box of stuff, which is a totally fine business model for subscription boxes. I think that Pinterest would be more effective for those types of niches. Yolana, thank you for that. I hope the interesting information was also useful information. Michelle, it says it's a travel box. I think that I think that Pinterest could be good. Maybe if it's like you're painting different things of different destinations for different like different cool things, castles in Ireland and castles in Scotland and water slides in Norway, and maybe you've got a bunch of different boards like that are like wanderlust type of theme to it. I think that would be a potentially an effective niche on Pinterest. Maybe not the most effective niche on Pinterest, but definitely more effective than other potential niches on Pinterest. I think that you could get customers out of it. Okay, everybody, that's the last questions we had. Thank you guys again for coming and spending time with me and asking questions. Again, Thursday, we've got a webinar on fulfillment. We got a special guest. If you've been trying to figure out how to get fulfillment efficient for your home or figure out how to outsource fulfillment so you don't have to pack any more boxes, that's a good webinar. You're definitely going to want to attend. It'll be a short 60, 90 minutes or so. Totally fresh, new information. This webinar will be up and live on Subscription School in about the next 48 to 72 hours. If you have any questions, post them on our Facebook wall, facebook.com/subscription school. Find me on Twitter. It's JARich31. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on my website. And I'll be, of course, in the private Subscription School Facebook group. So if you have any questions that you want to ask after this, jump in that group. Let me know. And we'll get a couple people in there giving you advice, checking out your landing page, giving you everything that we can that gets you to the next stage in your business. And again, thank you guys for taking the time out to work through this stuff with me. And I really hope that you guys start some success and that you get a little bit closer to reaching that number 25. All right, everybody. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye-bye.